Didn't know about back with another video. Say it out. I turned the camera on today. I turned the camera on today. Let me know if y'all like me with the camera on, see my face or whatever, whatever. But say it out. The in season tournament has just concluded. Well, it been over. What was that? Saturday. Today's Monday. But you get what I'm saying. In season tournament is over. And Lakers won. Anthony Davis went off. Austin Reeves had a good game, a great game. LeBron had a good game. On the Pacers side, Tyrese Halliburton didn't look as great as we would want him to look in a closeout tournament game. But I say all this to say this. What value does the in season tournament hold? What does it hold? I was comparing the in season tournament to the Maui Invitational, bro. I compared the in season tournament to the Maui Invitational in college. Don't nobody care about the Maui Invitational after the Maui Invitational in college basketball. And a lot of them times, the dudes that win, the teams that win the Maui Invitational, they don't win in March Madness. They don't win the whole thing. And I feel the same way about the in-season tournament in the NBA, bro. It's a good gauge and barometer of how good you will play. In high stake, high pressure games with the current team that you have at the beginning of the season, bro. No, nothing more, nothing less. I feel like it's very good for young teams. I feel like the in-season tournament can be a measuring stick type of event for a young team that you feel like is gonna make that leap. You get to see young guys in high pressure situations, high stakes situations. You can see if they're scared. You can see if they kind of don't have the greatest IQ, like things of that nature. Just imagine if Minnesota Timberwolves had an in-season tournament back when Cat was young, his first couple years, right? And they'll get to see his decision making in high stakes games. Just imagine how much that information will be useful. But I think the in-season tournament will be important for young teams. I think it'll be important for contending teams too. Like you look at the Celtics when they lost to the Pacers this year, I feel like that was, I ain't gonna say a red flag, but it was kind of a red flag. It was no Porzingis, so you take it with a grain of salt, I guess, depending on who you asking and how you should, whatever, whatever. But if you're a contending team, this should just be a part of the checklist. You get to the in-season tournament and you want to win it, it should be a part of the checklist. Like the Lakers, people were seeing them as a championship contender. They got to the Western Conference Finals. They wanted this, and they got it. So you can't just poo-poo them for celebrating because, man, I'm not against celebrating your wins, but we're not gonna hold. It's not gonna hold no weight unless the Lakers win a championship. Not in my mind with the team that they got. Now, Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers would have won it. It would have held some weight just because it's like, okay, this team might be ready. You have to look out for them. So I'm not the type of guy that poo-poos a tournament. Competitive basketball is competitive basketball. But it only means something for young teams and contending teams. If a mid-level team won it, wouldn't have gave a damn. Wouldn't have gave a damn. Like if the Knicks would have won it, is that changing how we view the Knicks? I'm just saying. Because we already feel like we know what the Knicks are. We know what their ceiling is. So it wouldn't have did too much if the Knicks would have won it. But if OKC would have won it, it would have meant something. If the Orlando Magic would have won it, it would have meant something. If another contending team like the Suns would have won it with what they going through, it would have meant something. Bucks would have won it, it would have meant something. But for the contending teams, it would only matter at the end of the season if they win the chip. And for the young teams, it would have mattered right then and there, and we would have gave them the credit for it right there. It's just a measuring stick. Just a measuring stick. It's just to see where you are at the beginning of the season with probably a new roster or additional pieces, and you want to see where you at competitively. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong with comparing the in-season tournament to the Maui Invitational. I don't see nothing wrong with somebody celebrating a win from the in-season tournament. Now, what I do have a problem with is now everybody clowning Anthony Davis. Can't clown Anthony Davis if we would have praised Halliburton or LeBron. If LeBron or Halliburton would have played like AD played in that in-season tournament championship, things would have been a whole lot different. AD, and he say it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it, or however that shit go. But We not finna sit up here and act like a Tyrese Halliburton would have had a 2020 game, 20 points, 20 assists, or a 2015 game that we wouldn't have been praising that shit and been like, oh yeah, Tyrese Halliburton on his way. So yeah, the in-season tournament, it's important, but not as important as some people might think. It's just a measuring stick for young teams and contending teams. Contending teams, you get credit if you win the in-season tournament and you win the championship. Young upcoming teams, you get credit if you win it. But that pretty much sums up how I feel about the in-season tournament. And I compared it to the Maui Invitational. It's cool, but don't mean shit come March. But this your boy Diddy knows Bob. Diddy knows Bob. What the hell? What's wrong with me? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.
Found some shit I love to do, so I can live comfortable. Searching for a peace of mind, need that when it's time to rhyme. Perfect in every line, any chance I get, and I know it takes time, but I will never quit.